I invite you to use a little imagination here this morning, because this is really a very important gospel, even if it tells us something that we often don't think about, and that is how hard it was for many people in the time of Jesus to believe in him, how hard it was for them to believe in what he said and in what he did, even the members of his own family. So I invite you to imagine that you are back at Nazareth in the time of Jesus, and we're eavesdropping on his family's conversation. Did you hear what happened with the Gerasenes? No, but it sounds like bad news. And how? Jesus drove out some devils from this crazy guy who was terrorizing everybody. And then the devils went into this herd of swine and spooked them. And they went running down the hill into the sea, and they were all drowned. Oh my, did they have insurance? No. The only insurance they had was to give Jesus a one-way Greyhound ticket out of town and say, don't ever come back here again. I hope they don't sue. Yeah, and I heard he's saying crazy things like, love your enemies and do good to those who hate you. And if somebody strikes you on the left cheek, offer them the other one as well. I have bruises all over me unless I fight back the way I'm used to. You know what else? He's really getting in trouble downtown. He keeps healing on the Sabbath day, and that really infuriates the Pharisees. And he casts out devils, so they say he must be in partnership with them. They really get angry when he heals on the Sabbath. And he won't listen to me when I tell him, hey, there are 6 other days in the week, and this guy with palsy has had it for months and years and years. Why can't you just wait one more day? And Jesus tells me, I'm missing the point. And I don't understand why he left home anyhow. He was the CEO of this nice little construction company we had after Joseph died. And he gives it all up to follow after he goes to that baptizing guy. And he was never the same after that, especially when he set out on his own with those 12 uncouth and smelly fishermen and riffraff. He left Mom and all of us here to fetch for ourselves. He's got obligations, you know. Now, he's come up with this long list of people that he says are blessed. Blessed for being poor, or if they are meek, or if they're merciful, or if people keep pushing them around, or even punch the lights out of them for his sake if they follow him. He says that will get them into heaven. Sounds more like hell on earth to me. But it also sounds like he's got a lot of people believing him. I even heard that one time he had about 5,000 people that came out to a desert place to listen to him preach. And at the end of the day, they were hungry. So Jesus took a few loaves and a few fishes, and everybody ate and were satisfied. And then they wanted to make him king. Who could believe anything like that? Well, he sure didn't fool folks around here when he came to talk at Nazareth, remember? He gave a really nice talk. But we knew he wasn't more educated than the rest of us here. And when he wouldn't do any of those miracles, like we heard he was doing every place else, the people drove him out of town, remember? But that didn't seem to stop him. In fact, you know what really hurts? He said people should hate their father and mother and brother and sister. That's us. He's out of his mind. I think we better go and drag him home before something happens to him. He could get our whole family into a lot of trouble. Well, that's where our gospel takes place today. While Jesus was speaking, his mother and his brothers arrived, and people told him they were asking for him. That's when you might say he gave his final answer. Who are my mother and my brothers? He asked. And then he said, here are my mother and brothers. For whoever does the will of God is brother and sister and mother to me. What? You could hear his family say, He practically disowned us. What happened after that, the gospel does not say. But we know that the family went home, probably never got to talk with Jesus, and certainly didn't take him home with them. Did it end that way? No. The Gospels say that Mary was at the foot of the cross and with the apostles at Pentecost. So somewhere along the line, she must have become a firm believer and disciple of Jesus, and so did other members of his family. Maybe the most important thing for you and me to take away from this gospel today is that we too are invited to be brothers and sisters of Jesus. I had a wonderful experience of that last week. One of the Capuchin priests at St. Francis High School, where I live, passed away at age 53, Father Jesus Vela. He died of a mysterious stomach ailment, and unexpected. It was a real shock for us. He had been pastor of our parish in Watts, and last Tuesday we had his funeral there. There were so many people who came, over 1,500, that we had to have the funeral outdoors in the street that was closed off for us. It was a marvelous experience for me of what it means to be brothers and sisters, not only of the original Jesus, but of our brother Jesus, the beloved pastor and friend and brother to so many people. That is the experience that's offered to you and me now here in this Eucharist. The experience of family, the experience of love, the experience of caring and of being cared for, the experience of a shared faith, and especially the experience of even sharing Jesus Christ himself. Even the people who heard the words of today's gospel never had it as good as you and I do this morning.